Hey James, I got a question. Is alcohol haram in Christianity?
So not only is alcohol not forbidden in Christianity, it's actually mandatory. In Matthew 26:26, Jesus breaks bread and gives his disciples wine and commands them to do this in remembrance of him. So communion is probably the most important Christian ritual alongside baptism that all Christians have to practice. However, in Ephesians 5:18, the Apostle Paul says, "Do not be drunk with wine, but be filled with the Holy Spirit." So the basic biblical parameters around alcohol is that it's permissible and being drunk is not permissible.
But how do you know where the line is?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And so it's less about how much alcohol are you allowed to drink and more what your mind should reflect. So in 1 Timothy 3:2, in Titus 2:2, and then 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 13, there's a command that Christians are to be sober-minded. And so the idea of sober-minded is that you're always in control of your thoughts, you're always rational in your thinking, you're always thinking clearly. And you shouldn't do anything that inhibits your ability to think clearly, and that is the standard. So it's entirely possible to be physically sober and not to be sober-minded. So ultimately, everybody has to aspire to be sober-minded all the time. And as you aspire to be sober-minded all the time, that's the standard you have to hold up.
Wouldn't it be better to forbid it completely?
So at this point, this simply reflects the world we have to live in. Almost any good thing can be bad for us in excess. Sugar is amazing. Coffee is amazing. Sex is good. But when we have too much of those things, it's like unhealthy for us. We can get diabetes, or we can get shaky limbs if we have coffee. Even if we eat too much food, and food is amazing. Everybody loves food. Food is good everywhere, but eating too much food is bad for our health as well. So ultimately, the way you have to live in the world is as a person of self-control and moderation, and alcohol is no difference for that. So some people are going to have to figure out self-control by figuring out, okay, here's my limits before I stop being sober-minded. Other people are not going to be able to have any alcohol because of their self-control issues, and their self-control is staying away. But ultimately, that is left by God up to the individual and their conscience for them to seek to please him in the way they behave. Thanks for watching. If you have more questions, why not check out the other videos in this series? If we haven't answered your question yet, you can submit it to almeida.org/ask. We aim to answer one question every week. Like and subscribe for more content.